Hear the word of the Lord. Put on sackcloth and mourn, you priests. Wail, you ministers of the altar. Come, spend the night in sackcloth, you ministers of my God. For the grain offering and the drink offering have been withheld from the house of your God. Consecrate a fast. Proclaim a solemn assembly. Gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land to the house of the Lord your God, and cry out to the Lord. Woe for the day of the Lord is near, and it will come as destruction from the Almighty. Has food not been cut off before our eyes, and joy and rejoicing from the house of our God? The seeds have dried up under their shovels. The storehouses have become desolate. The grain silos are ruined, because the grain has dried up. How the animals have groaned! The herds of cattle have wandered aimlessly, because there is no pasture for them. Even the flocks of sheep have suffered. For behold, the Lord is coming forth from his place. He will come down and tread on the high places of the earth. The mountains will melt under him, and the valleys will be split, like wax before the fire, like water poured down a steep place. Woe to those who devise wrongdoing, who practice evil on their beds. When morning comes, they do it, because it is in the power of their hands. They covet fields, so they seize them, and houses, so they take them. They exploit a man and his house, a person and his inheritance. Therefore, this is what the Lord says: Behold, I am planning against this family a catastrophe from which you cannot remove your necks, and you will not walk hotly, for it will be an evil time. Now this came about because the sons of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, who had brought them up from the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and they had feared other gods. They also followed the customs of the nations whom the Lord had driven out from the sons of Israel, and in the customs of the kings of Israel which they had introduced. And the sons of Israel did things secretly against the Lord their God, which were not right. Yet the Lord warned Israel and Judah through all his prophets and every seer, saying, Turn back from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes in accordance with all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you through my servants the prophets. However, they did not listen, but stiffened their neck like their fathers, who did not believe in the Lord their God. They rejected his statutes and his covenant which he made with their fathers, and his warnings which he gave them. And they followed idols, and became empty, and followed the nations that surrounded them, about which the Lord had commanded them not to do as they did. And they abandoned all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made for themselves cast metal images, 2 calves. And they made an Asherah, and worshipped all the heavenly lights, and served Baal. Then they made their sons and their daughters pass through the fire, and they practiced divination and interpreting omens, and give themselves over to do evil in the sight of the Lord, provoking him. So the Lord was very angry with Israel, and he removed them from his sight.